Natalia Samarek, thank you so much for being here with us today. And this is such a special moment in the year, which is spring, the time when nature comes back to life. Everything starts to regenerate, cleanse itself, and simply move forward, come to life. And from your perspective, what usually happens in our bodies after winter? And why do so many people feel a drop in energy now instead of a surge?
You're right. In spring, a lot of people feel a certain change, and very often it's our body reacting. Maybe not exactly the way we would like it to. Because it's spring and the sun is shining, we want more energy, but actually feel the opposite. And it's not a coincidence that this condition is even called spring fatigue. You could actually say that it's a little bit normal. I say a little bit because there is an explanation for it, although not everyone feels weak. And that's actually a sign for us that it's worth doing something about it. In general, we wake up just like nature does because we are a part of it. After this winter, when we eat differently, heavier foods because we want to warm up our bodies, we move less. Because it's cold, people are dressed warmly, and there's not as much outdoor activity as usual in the summer when we spend more time outside. But it's also already that change. More sunlight and completely different hormones should be functioning already. There's already a bit less melatonin because it's not dark at 4 p.m. anymore, and the evenings are nice enough that you can sit outside in the yard if you have your own house, or go out to the park and take a walk after work. But these hormones still need to adjust. Less melatonin, but we should be producing more serotonin, the happiness hormone. And very often we still don't have the right nutrients, even for hormone production, because spring is a time when we have many deficiencies. We can feel it. Vegetables harvested last autumn, last year, they no longer have that value. They don't have those vitamins, they don't have those minerals, and we're not getting all of that. And here, it all comes together. And that's this kind of rebuilding, getting our metabolism going, and those nutrient deficiencies. They make us feel a bit more sluggish. We lack that energy. Our cells, our mitochondria work very intensively, but they don't have the building blocks to regenerate, to provide that energy to our body. And that's why we need to approach this a little differently. Simply not like you do every day, but spring is telling you to take care of your health, do something for yourself. And the first thing is your diet. And look, here too, when it comes to diet, it's worth mentioning a small aspect because on one hand, spring means we should introduce more greens. But the kind of food that's alive, living food, I don't know if our viewers will realize that foods can be dead or alive. Well, dead food is all that processed stuff we buy, destroyed, killed, that sits somewhere for months being stored. There's not only a lack of those nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, but most importantly, what's most important? There's no life energy. Life energy is something that awakens on its own, something that's completely fresh, like sprouts, for example. Sprouts are something we can grow on our windowsill, and they provide us with both vitamins and minerals, as well as that life energy. It will also awaken us, and we should remember that. Even planting green onions, so we have their green tops at home. And to harvest it and add it every day to a raw vegetable salad, to soup, and to eat as much of it as possible. But in general, try to eat fewer processed foods. However, remember that this is still a time when the body needs a bit of warming up. Because I don't know about you or our viewers, but for example, it's very cold here today. Yesterday it was beautifully sunny, but today it's already windy. And that's exactly when these changes happen. We often catch a cold because our immunity is weak. And here, let's also remember to warm up our bodies. Having a hot meal at least once a day is very important for it. And that's where soups come in. Soups are considered concentrated nourishment. They are cooked for a long time, whether they're vegetable soups if someone is on a plant-based diet, or they can be meat broths if someone eats meat. It doesn't matter. Both types of soup will provide us with a lot of nutrients. And that's what we should use. That's what we should include. Raw plants, fresh ones, plus long-cooked broths. And that will already give us a lot of strength. But of course, during this time, we pay attention to where we get that energy from. We get our energy from clean water. We get our energy from the sun and from fresh air. That's why we need to go outside. Even if it's windy like today, you just need to dress warmer and go somewhere out in the fresh air. Spend time in nature to provide your body with that energy. Supplements can definitely help as well. But we have to remember that a supplement is always something extra. That's why it's called supplementation. It's just a complement. Nowadays, we often treat supplements as the foundation, but no, the foundation is our lifestyle, and a supplement is something extra that makes our life easier.
Do you think spring is a good time to cleanse the body, or should we approach this very cautiously?
This is one of the best times to cleanse the body. And it's not a coincidence. Listen, even our traditions reflect that. Are these traditions that have been passed down from grandmothers? Or are they also traditions connected to religion? It doesn't really matter why or how it started. But listen, it's very wise that people fast in the spring. These cleansing fasts when we eat fewer heavy foods, so that our body can process all those residues that have remained in our cells. Intermittent fasting is trending now. I'm really glad about it because, that's the name. I mean, it's kind of interesting that everything that has always been used and our grandmothers used to eat this way, this eating window is just called something different now. It's called intermittent fasting. Okay, let it be. Maybe it will motivate someone. But we just shouldn't be eating from the moment we open our eyes in the morning until we go to sleep at night. And even at 11 p.m. or midnight, some people are still snacking somewhere by the TV or computer. And people keep putting something into their stomachs all the time, completely disrupting all the detoxification and regeneration processes because we're constantly digesting. We forget that the body has several different functions, many different functions that it performs, but it can't do everything at once because it will try to do it. But all these functions will be impaired. It will digest poorly, absorb poorly, regenerate poorly, and we need to give everything time. And there is this 8-hour eating window when we consume food. But the rest of the time we need to digest, to absorb, to use those substances to rebuild the body and to remove what is unnecessary. And it's the same with the seasons of the year. If in winter we eat more, store more, and warm our bodies, then in the spring when we wake up, we need to. We simply need to get rid of what has accumulated. We accumulate more fat cells. A lot of metabolites also build up. And some people think, okay, now that it's spring, I'll just hit myself with some detox and cleanse my body. But you have to remember that you need to prepare your body. You don't need to do some intense action all at once because detox is a process. And this process should be gradual, and you also need to approach it properly. You need to prepare your body for cleansing as well. And there are a lot of such preparations. First of all, we analyze our own body because it's not like there's one detox for everyone. One approach will suit one person, while someone else will need a completely different approach because we have different ailments and different imbalances in our bodies. Someone has constipation, someone else is prone to diarrhea. And here too, you need to choose the right strategy. But it's true that spring is a very good time for cleansing. And like I said, everyone will choose the right detox for themselves. But the first thing you need to take care of is proper bowel movements. The worst thing is to start any kind of detox when you have constipation and begin using some detox programs. I always emphasize to make it easier for people to understand that if we want to get rid of toxins from the body, we first need to clear and open those elimination pathways. How are those toxins supposed to leave your body? If it's through the intestines and you have constipation, then they won't come out. So first, open those doors, meaning get rid of the constipation, and then you can start proper detoxification.